and welcome to episode 20 of Maverick Mastery. This week we'll be tackling questions from FIB paragraph. And how this goes down is there will be 5 questions that I will attempt. I will share all the thought process that I have in order to arrive at the answer. And then there will be 5 questions available for you to practice. And those 5 questions, the answer key for them will be present in the description box below. Let's get it. Okay, how I go about doing it is very simple. I read the paragraph first, and then I try to fill in which blank the statement should come. But first I read the paragraph and then I go read the sentence. So let's read. To our modern mind, skepticism is normally associated with frustration, and skeptical conclusions are usually taken to be disturbing because they seem to stand in the way of certainty about the world and our place in it. They thought of their skepticism. Here, a new word "they" has been introduced. It seems like some group of people who are skeptics should be mentioned in blank one because they have been mentioned here. They thought of the skepticism as a way of life, as a way of reaching ataraxia or tranquility. Yeah, ataraxia means tranquility, peace. In their view, if they have been talked of, in their view, seems fine. Having beliefs is the ultimate cause of anxiety. And therefore, the best way to avoid anxiety, to achieve peace of mind, is to get rid of beliefs altogether. If you're not certain of anything, you don't expect things. When you don't expect things, you will not have anxiety. Okay. The skeptics in this sense are often called Pyrrhonists after Pyrrho, the ancient Greek master skeptic who lived in the 4th and 3rd centuries BCE. Most of what we know of ancient skeptics comes from the books written by Sextus Empiricus. We know almost nothing about this mysterious figure. So this mysterious figure must be in reference to Sextus Empiricus, except that he practiced medicine and belonged to the empirical school of medicine. So the most logical place where something should be mentioned seems like one, because that is the only spot where the thought has switched entirely. Something new has been mentioned without earlier reference to it. Let's look at the sentence. But famously, or rather infamously, those people in ancient Greek who called themselves skeptics, meaning investigators, were pretty happy about it. And we have a group of people being referenced here, the skeptics. So the correct answer for this question should be option A. And that will be all for this question. Okay, then this one now. If you suspect that 21st century technology has broken your brain, it will be reassuring to know that attention spans have never been what they used to be. Okay? This is basically if you have a concern that your brain ability has gone down, data would back that up. One. Even the ancient Roman philosopher Seneca the Younger was worried about how new technologies degrading his ability to focus. Okay, so you have that concern. Even the ancient Roman philosopher Seneca the Younger had the same concern. New technologies are dulling our brain power down. So it doesn't seem like one needs anything. Sometime during the 1st century CE, he complained that the multitude of books is a distraction. Okay, this is a very, very left field idea wherein knowledge is being claimed for something rather than being applauded or upheld as something awesome. He complained the multitude of books is a distraction. This concern reappeared. So when he's complaining, he's raising a concern. So that this concern reappeared again and again over the next millennia. 1, 2, 3 don't seem like they need something. This concern reappeared again and again in the next millennium. And in the 14th century Italy, the scholar and poet Petrarch made even stronger claims on the effects of accumulating books. Technological advances would make things only worse. None of these blanks really need anything. The ideas seem to be very, very logical, flowing from each other. The fact that after blanks appeared more and more over the next millennia, and then in the 14th century, timeline-based information is provided. So let's see what is mentioned in the sentence. By the 12th century, Chinese philosopher Zhu Xi saw himself living in a new age of distraction thanks to the technology of print. The people today read sloppily. The reason people today read sloppily is that there are great many printed texts. Okay. So now, timeline wise, we have a clue. We have mention of 12th century here. We have 1st century something mentioned here. Then between 3 and 4, this should come. But this concern appeared again and again over the next millennia. So concern would either be, no. This concern appeared again and again. This would be in reference to the multitude of books as a distraction. And then this line, this concern appeared again and again over the next millennia. By the 12th century, Chinese philosopher Zhu Xi had something. And in the 14th century, Italy, the scholar and poet Petrarch made even stronger claims. This should come in blank 4. Option 4 should be the right answer. Okay, next question. According to the Big Bang Theory, around 13.8 billion years ago, the mother of all explosions took place in the dense structure of gases and dust. And that's how the first star formed. And it started a chain reaction. Okay. It started a chain reaction. Second part of the theory suggests that ever since the explosion took place, the universe is in motion and is expanding outwards. So the first part of the theory is that 13.8 billion years ago, a huge explosion took place, and that is how the first star was formed and it started a chain reaction. Second part of the theory suggests that ever since the explosion took place, the universe is in motion and is expanding outwards. Okay. Now, this is something we have observed using NASA, Hubble, and James Webb Space Telescopes. So, this part of the theory has been proven. First part of the theory, of course, cannot be proven. We cannot go back 13.8 billion years ago. Galaxies and stars are all in motion. This is reaffirming what we had theorized. Thank you. But just knowing that they are moving does not mean that they are expanding outwards. The fact that they are in motion and they are moving seems like a continuous idea, no problem at all. Nothing should come blank 2. Even blank 1 does not really have a gap that needs to be filled. And this is where the red shift comes in. According to the scientists, the further a galaxy is, the faster it is moving away from us and more red shifted its light is. This general observation highlights that further a galaxy is, the faster it is moving. Now, these two sentences seem like they are pretty much repeating the same point. According to scientists, the further a galaxy is, the faster it is moving away from us and the more redshifted its light is. This general observation highlights that the further a galaxy is, the faster it is moving. Seems like an unnecessary repetition. So perhaps 3 can have something. Hence, the color in light with longer wavelengths such as blue and violet gets scattered. Okay. Faster it is moving, hence the color in light with longer wavelengths such as blue and violet gets scattered. Now, 3 seems like an idea. 3 seems like a place where a new sentence should come in. Let's read. Consequently, all the present stars, planets, and galaxies were formed, and that created life somehow. Here we were talking of shift in light. So clearly, this is not the spot where it will come. In fact, this is very much in line with what happened earlier. Around 13.8 billion years ago, the mother of all explosions took place in the dense structure of gases and dust, and that's how the first star formed. And it started a chain reaction. Consequently, all the present stars, planets, and galaxies were formed, and that created life somehow. The second part of the theory makes sense. This being this coming right after, that's how the first star was formed, and it started a chain reaction. And then other stars and planets and galaxies were formed. Blank 1 should be the spot where this sentence comes. Okay. Next question. Blank. Like contemporary evil skeptics to be inspired, Nietzsche argued that concept of evil should be abandoned because it does not describe a moral reality. It does not describe a moral reality. Instead, it is merely used to demonize enemies. In addition, He argues that the concept of evil is dangerous because it has negative effects on human potential and vitality by promoting the weak in spirit and suppressing the strong. Okay. Basically, moral precepts, moral concepts are actually against the grain of survival of the fittest because it promotes the weak and suppresses the strong. Now, to blank 2 doesn't seem like something should come here because it is instead it is merely used to demonize enemies. In addition, adding to the point, so it seems like it is continuing about the same thing. I can rule out 2 from reckoning writer. He contends that the powerless and weak created the concept of evil to take revenge against their oppressors. Of course, concept of evil, the concept of morality in entirety. Nietzsche believed that concepts of good and evil contribute to an unhealthy view of life. Such a view considers relief from suffering as more valuable than creative self-expression and accomplishment. For this reason, Nietzsche believes that we should seek to move beyond judgments of good and evil. And this is the reason why, as in, such a view considers relief from. See, Nietzsche believes that the concepts of good and evil contribute to an unhealthy view of life. How is it unhealthy? Unhealthy. Such a view considers relief from suffering as more valuable than creative self-expression and accomplishment. So, in simpler terms, if you were to ask people what in service of freedom of speech, should political commentary that is not aligned, that is offensive to the sensibilities of masses be allowed? That can be clamped down by oppressing self-expression and stating stuff, because avoiding the suffering, avoiding offending somebody is more valuable than allowing somebody to have the freedom of expression. That is the comparison I'm drawing. And for this reason, Nietzsche believes that we should seek to move beyond judgments of good and evil. Okay. Understand, good and evil are all relative. What is good for me may be evil according to you. What is evil for you could be good according to me. All of it is very, very relative. And for the purposes of this question, it doesn't seem like 4 will have anything. So I'm left between 1 and 3. I'm left between 1 and 3. Let's see. Nietzsche argues that the concept of evil arose from negative emotions of envy, hatred, and resentment. Okay. So having it in one, like contemporary evil skeptics whom he inspired, Nietzsche argues, no, this is an introductory line and this is already arguing about concept of evil, how it came into being. So one should not be it. Given that I have absolutely no idea where it should be coming, so 2 and 4 are back in clear. Demonize enemies. Nietzsche argues that the concept of evil arose from negative emotions of envy, hatred, and resentment. If it comes in 2, then this next line would not make sense. In addition, he argues that the concept of evil is dangerous because it has negative effects on human potential. You already talked of negative emotions, so it has negative effects on human potential. The repetition would not be sensible. Okay. How about in 3? It has negative effects on human potential vitality by promoting the weak in spirit and suppressing the strong. Nietzsche argues that the concept of evil arose from negative emotions of envy, hatred, and resentment. Possibly. This spot is possible. He contends that the powerless and weak created the concept of evil to take revenge against their oppressors. Nietzsche believes that the concepts of good and evil contribute to an unhealthy view of life. Such a view considers relief from suffering as more valuable than creative self-expression and accomplishment. Okay. So this is where, see, in this portion, we are talking of how the concept of evil and concept of good arose. This is where we are talking of its impact. So this is not where it will come. This is not where it will come. It has to come in blank 3. The answer to this question will necessarily be option 3. Okay. Next, look at the sentence. Crows can fly and pigs can fly. blank, you'll notice that it is made up of two distinct claims. Clearly, one will not have anything. You'll notice that it is made up of two distinct claims is directly in reference to the previous statement. Nothing will come in blank. You'll notice that it is made up of two distinct claims fused together by the word and. Expressions that are found in this way are called conjunctions, and individual claims that make them up are known as conjuncts. Seems like a grammar lesson. Okay. 2, 3 doesn't look, as in 2 doesn't look like it needs to have anything. It is a continuation of the thought. A conjunction is true only if both the conjuncts are true. This is like conditional statements and both the parts of the statement will be true. That means it is false if even one conjunct is false. Similarly, if P is any sentence that is neither true nor false, that means P and pigs can fly is false. By contrast, if P is ineffable, then P and pigs can fly is ineffable too. Okay. I have absolutely no clue where we are ineffable. I don't know the meaning of it. But this statement, I know where this will go. See, the line here, a conjunction is true only if both the conjuncts are true. That means it is false even if one conjunct is false. Crows can fly and pigs can fly, for example, is false as a whole because of the falsity of the second conjunct alone. Second conjunct is pigs can fly. That makes it false. And that is the idea being discussed right before blank 4. So this statement should necessarily come in blank 4. And those are all the 5 questions that I am attempting. For your own practice, the next 5 questions will come up. I will display those questions. Stay on that screen for a little while. Then perhaps you can attempt them for your practice. Ideally, what you should be doing is you should be pausing it here, coming up with your answer, then checking whether your answer is correct or not. Second question. Third question now. Okay. Fourth question now. Okay. And last question that you should attempt. And that should be all of it. That should be all of it. If you feel like your answer is not aligned with what is given in the official answer key, you can of course put it down your reason in the comment and somebody from the team will give you a more detailed reason, more cogent argument for why the answer should be that. Hopefully you learned something from this episode. That will be all for this week. Hopefully you learned something. Bye bye.